event is coming soon. I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator.
VAULT7, Wikileaks reveals Marble tool that can frame Russia, China, and more for cyber attacks. Wikileaks just released another set of documents from VAULT7 that detail the CIA's secret anti-forensic program, Marble Framework, which allows them to prevent forensic investigators from pinning hacking attacks, viruses, and Trojans to the agency. It shows just how protected the CIA is from being held accountable for unethical or illegal actions. According to Wikileaks, the program allows them to direct blame away from the CIA and onto another party by hiding fragments of texts that would allow the author of the malware to be identified. Perhaps more alarmingly, they can also add foreign languages to malware, meaning that the agency can effectively divert attention to other countries. The program lists Chinese, Russian, Korean, Arabic, and Farsi in example code. So, if malware attacks are indeed domestic, they could easily be made to look as though they originated from another country. It's a strong contrast to recent controversy surrounding the U.S. election, which saw the United States blame Russia for hacking and interference without evidence to support the allegation. Meanwhile, we know that the CIA has interfered in the elections and politics of approximately 100 countries. Three-time presidential candidate Ron Paul made an appearance on RT last year discussing this ironic fact. Paul said, "Our government doesn't change a whole lot. The people, who behind the scenes control the government, are always the same. And I consider that to be the case in most governments. The propagandists are on the side of the people who want us to be intervening around the world, and I imagine that because Trump has suggested maybe we ought to do a little bit less of that, maybe they don't like that idea, and they want to discredit him for that approach." Foreign intervention to enforce the will of the West is hardly a new phenomenon, but now we have proof of it happening in the cyber domain. According to WikiLeaks, the source code shows that Marble has test examples not just in English but also in Chinese, Russian, Korean, Arabic, and Farsi. This would permit a forensic attribution double game, for example by pretending that the spoken language of the malware creator was not American English, but Chinese, but then showing attempts to conceal the use of Chinese, drawing forensic investigators even more strongly to the wrong conclusion. But there are other possibilities, such as hiding fake error messages. For all we know, this could have been going on for years. Who knows how many viruses and hacking attacks can be attributed to the CIA, given that they can't even be traced back to the agency. False flag cyber terrorism. False flag terrorism refers to the idea that terrorist attacks are created, perpetuated, and/or funded by Western governments and their allies in order to justify the infiltration of other countries for ulterior motives. 9/11, for instance, is a classic example of this in action, and there are plenty of documents and insider testimony to prove it. For example, former British Foreign Secretary Robin Cook once told the world that there is no Islamic army or terrorist group called Al-Qaeda, and that any informed intelligence officer knows this. He went on to state that there is a propaganda campaign to make the public believe in the presence of an intensified entity representing the devil only in order to drive TV watchers to accept a unified international leadership for a war against terrorism. David Steele, the second highest-ranking civilian in the U.S. Marine Corps Intelligence Unit and a former CIA clandestine services officer, recently expressed the same sentiment, stating that most terrorists are false flag terrorists, or created by our own security services. This was also the sentiment of most experts who attended the International Conference on the New World Order, which was organized and sponsored by the Perdani Global Peace Foundation. So, what we are seeing here with the CIA is a glimpse of false flag cyber terrorism, the ability to blame a hack on a foreign entity when it was in fact created by the accusing agency itself. This is outrageous but hardly surprising given the track record of Western intelligence agencies in the non-cyber world. The tactics, if not the medium in which they were employed, are exactly the same. What can we take away from all of this information leaking out into the public domain? Why now? Approximately 10 years ago, so many subjects were considered crazy or a conspiracy theory. False flag terrorism and mass surveillance are perhaps the two best examples. Today we have dozens of insider whistleblowers, along with numerous documents leaked via Wikileaks and Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, requests, that show just how wrong we were. New information is emerging that challenges the belief systems of many, but it also opens up our mind to the idea that not everything we see on television is true, and that it is our responsibility as citizens to watch critically. We've given our power and trust away to a handful of financial institutions and corporations that completely dictate government policy. A great quote by Edward Bernays, who was known as the father of public relations, comes to mind here. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. We've lived in the dark for so long on so many issues, but it seems that we are living in a special time that correlates with a massive shift in consciousness. More people are desiring love, cooperation, equality, sharing, caring, and overall a better world and a human experience that resonates with us. I believe this shift in consciousness, and the simple desire and intention by the masses for a better world, has sparked movements like Wikileaks, like collective evolution, and more. It has, in a sense, manifested information revelations in various fields, from health and finance to quantum physics and more, so we can see. Why? Because we cannot change our world without first identifying our problems, and one major problem is our collective blindness. The wool has been pulled over our eyes on so many different topics. But we are finally starting to think for ourselves, and it's birthing a spiritual revolution. A wise man once said that secrecy is corrosive to the soul, and in an era where more people are getting in touch with their spiritual side, it only makes sense for a massive wave of transparency to come forth so we can change what we no longer desire. It's funny, because apocalypse means revealing of the truth.
Please like us and share with your social media. Please subscribe and click the bell to be notified of our new videos.
Remember to check out our playlist for important intel you may have missed.
Be sure to enter our subscriber appreciation $100 monthly giveaway. The link is in our description.
And visit our sister channel. Event is coming soon. For additional intel and information, stay tuned. Victory of the light.